Hello, everyone, and this is Reggie Williams with Stock Talk. I do uh, technical analysis on stocks. I trade stock patterns, so I'm a swing trader. So I strictly trade stock patterns and technical analysis. So if you're looking for due diligence, this is just one piece of the pie. So you should always listen to multiple people for information. Now, with that said, let's get into Tesla. Tesla's been on a tear for a minute now. It looks like since November, and so Tesla's been on a tear. And I'm just doing a technical analysis on Tesla. Right now, the market is so tough to judge because everything is ran up. Right? Look at Tesla here. Now, how do I know it's ran up? Look at the Bollinger Band. See this green line, the shadow, this green line, this red line, and this green line. These red lines are these. I drew these, but this is called the Bollinger Band. They're moving averages, right? And so usually stocks stay within these moving averages, and you trade accordingly. But now these things, like every stock I look at, I look at hundreds of stocks a day. Speaking of that, don't forget to like and subscribe. So when I find little jewels and chart patterns, I do post videos on it and I share, and that way you can get notifications because a lot of it is time sensitive, like this video. So Tesla's ran up. So Tesla has ran up, but is it ran out? No. I mean, you can't say that because look. So down here is volume. So look at this huge stick here. I'm gonna start the whole thing, and then volume, 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 and it's just more buyers than sellers. And we got the RSI here. The RSI is showing overbought. It's touching here, which usually means a bit of a reversal or a weakness. It may be starting to trade down. This is a daily chart, and this is the MacDizzle, the MacD. The MacD is trading wide open, upwards momentum, strength to the upside. Nothing but strength to the upside, according to the MacD. So if you just look at these two, right? I mean, of course, it's going to be overbought because there's just been a flood. This is the beginning of the year. There's a flood of buyers. Everybody's on Tesla. But looking at these two, you think like, okay, this is a buy. But when you see it here, this far above the Bollinger Band, one rule of trading, man, when it comes to using Bollinger Bands, everything comes back to mama. Everything's come back inside the warmth, the womb here of the Bollinger Band. Everything comes back in. But when, right? And usually, I mean, it's been hanging out there for a minute. You got this, like four candlesticks that's been outside the Bollinger Band. And this one just way out on its own. But there's a lot of stocks like that because volume has completely hit the market, right? And so, uh, how do you trade this, right? Because this is an all-time high. There's no say this is my resistance. It blew way past that, right? Blew way past my resistance. It's above. It's way above. I like to buy it like around this red line on any stock. That's usually the start of a pattern, but it's what is this? It's just leaving it behind, right? So how do you trade this? Because like even here, I was scratching my head, and boom, look at this. So here between 773 and 813, I'm like, boom, hit 800. And usually at these marks, right, 800, 600, 700, whatever, these whole hundreds marks, uh, there'll be a pullback, right? Usually right before it, like at 796 or something. It completely ignored that rule and just blew through it uh, on this day, and this was on the January 7th, yesterday. It's calling it completely disrespecting all logic, right? Tesla just doing its own thing, and so the next day today, boom, hit up here, 842, and I was thinking like it's gonna hit $800. Like a few days ago, I was like, I'll hit 800 next week. Nah, Tesla's like, nope. And so, all right, how do you trade this, right? Okay, so let's get into it. So let's go back out a week. So there's nothing here a week to try to there's nothing I can really, even if I did maybe this here, these highs. Like these highs come close. Maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but these highs come close to give some sort of parameter where so according to this, like Monday, it may get to 896 and then retrace. But you gotta go to the weekly chart to even to find that. Um, and that's the number I'm thinking anyway. 900, I think it's gonna bounce back because remember it did that like here, right? What was this? 400. Boom at 410. Boom hit 410, and then broke through, and then fell back down, and then broke all the way through, and then so 450 was the number here, right? This whole little range right here. Let me mark it. That whole little range it traded in. And I remember because nobody was talking about Tesla or nothing, man. Tesla was like, nothing. Like, it was a runner, and I think NIO was making a run during this time. So I remember NIO, everyone's like, so anyway. Um, this was strong resistance, 442, blew past that, and that's when this current uptrend started. Just blew right through it. So uh next week I'm thinking a high of $900. That's my prediction for Tesla for next week. A high of 900, based off the only resistance I can find because it's so high. It's running so high of 896, which makes sense too because you don't sell at 900. You sell at 896. So everybody, you sell right before. And it probably would stay in. I don't think it's going to drop all the way back down here for the week. But I'm thinking, so worst case scenario, Tesla next week will trade between uh, 896 and 836 in a consolidation pattern, or as it's been doing, completely being disrespectful and just doing its own thing and just this trading up, and it's going to look for 900 or it's going to look for if it blows past 900, it's going to 1,000. I'm thinking. I'm thinking 1,000. Look at this candlestick here. I mean, you would never thought it went from 722 to $100 in 1 week. $100 in 1 week. Absolutely bananas. And the MacD isn't even finished. Look at that, the MacD down here. So that's my prediction for Tesla. Technical analysis on Tesla. And the only thing that scares me though is just because it's so far outside. At some point, it's coming back down. Okay, and so if my prediction of next week consolidating based off the 1 week chart, it's going to trade within this little range. Maybe this a little ascending triangle here, heading towards $900, or possible retracement. Worst case scenario, I think it trades sideways. The Bollinger Band catches up, and then it heads back north again. But coming back down, our resistance, our support level will be right here, about 816, 820 will be our support level for Tesla. Now, I want to show you guys an example, right, of spikes that just go outside the Bollinger Band. So I've got one in Stitch Fix. Completely different sector, but just I like the pattern was the same. So ignore that part. So ignore all this to the right. So right here, it had earnings and then it blew out. I purchased here. I sold like right here because it was outside. Look at so this is the Bollinger Band. It's just hanging out on the outside of it, chilling. And so I was like, so I sold, and then it just kept going. I was like, man, this thing's hanging outside. 4 days of uptrend outside. 5 days of uptrend outside the Bollinger Band. I look at a lot of charts, and I don't see that very often. Because usually it'll come out here and then they'll just come back down and it'll just crash, right? But so as you can see, and this what Tesla may do this it has to at some point. It has to come back inside the Bollinger Band. That's just how it works. And so Stitch Fix eventually came back home. Still shot. I mean, I see Tesla doing this too, same momentum. But Stitch Fix had a short squeeze. So this is a short squeeze. And so it came in, and then now it came back down. So I don't know if Tesla's gonna do all this, but it's gonna come back inside. But this is just an example of what can happen. So yeah, I'm worried that Tesla is outside of Bollinger Band, but it like Stitch Fix, it can keep going. So I do have a video on how to trade stocks like Tesla, because Tesla's going to have low deltas. It's going to have low deltas and high thetas, which means if it's not gapping up, you can lose money, right? So like right here, so it gapped up, right? So let's say you got in here, you bought a naked option, you got in, Look, it's hanging out. So just like here, so this is kind of, I could use an example too, Tesla itself. So look right here, it hung outside the Bollinger Band, then consolidated sideways, had a short dip down. People are all over that because look, it just jumped right back up. The consolidated, dipped back down, sideways, jumped, down, jumped, right? So I expect at some point this sideways movement to get it back inside reality. Because Tesla just gangster, it's doing its own thing. So it's get back into reality here and then go back up. So this is my technical analysis on Tesla. I hope it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can stay updated on the little gems that I drop on my channel. This is Reggie with Stock Talk. See you later.